I messed up. Yes, I messed up and didn't push the microphone when I was doing the grooming on Otto the other day. So I am experimenting to see if I could save this clip. It might take a little while. I think I sped it up some, and I did add a comic cool filter. Setting 55. As you can see, the cat up there on the ledge, he's got a little bit of artistic shading to it. Here he's leaving the scene. You can see his tail. I obviously had to go get something. I think I had to take the leash and go get Otto because he was hesitant that day, that was yesterday, to come and get brushed. The main thing that I actually did for Otto on this clip was get him looking good. So I like to have my poodles all look good. There's a lot of commotion going on here while I'm trying to do this voiceover. As you can see, there's Leo again. He's back on the ledge, and I'm examining Otto to see what kind of shape he's in, and I'm going to tie him on. Usually I don't even need to tie him on. Otto is 6 years old, and he's usually really good, but they all have their moments. So here I'm adjusting the screen. As you know, I'm using one of my iMacs to record. I don't have a professional studio. I'm just a home groomer trying to stay organized. It's constant struggle, and I am retired. I've been retired for 12 years, putting on my apron. I thought I had sped this up, but I don't know where I can see where I sped it up. I think I sped it up in a different section before, when I posted it. So Eli Bentley is supervising, making sure I'm doing everything correctly. And I'm inspecting. I'm trying to get ready, trying to get into it. Need my glasses, obviously. The sun was shining in pretty bright, and I did have trouble seeing everything clearly because the sun was so bright, shining in through the window, and it was interfering with my actual lighting. Leo is up on the ledge. He really likes to get groomed too. So I'm examining my Bravada. I got some new blades for it, and it actually was trimming really well. So a lot of my complaints about the Bravada was actually my blade had gotten dull. Didn't last very long at all, the blade that came with it. So a new blade does make a big difference when it comes to the Bravada that has 5 different settings, I believe. You go from a 3 to a 7. And I believe I was using a 7 on this, and it was a little bit close. So I think I might, oh, there's Leo. He's going on into the bright windowsill, and Otto isn't cooperating all that well. I guess some days he doesn't get into it all that well, does he? He's just like a human being. We don't always like to do what we're told. So here I'm trying a different technique where I hold his paw. Usually I Dremel their toenails by holding them like that behind my back and putting their leg and their paw under my arm so I can get a good grip. I think dremeling can be very dangerous because I use a construction Dremel, and yes, I don't dare let that ever get out of my hand. I hold it very tightly and really have to have control over the process of dremeling the toenail. But here I'm not dremeling. Here I am actually shaving, not all the way down to the skin, but as close as possible, his wonderful toes and his feet. Later on, I will be dremeling. And I'm sorry that I had to turn my back on the camera to do this. I pick up his leg, look underneath the paw, and I am shaving the hair under the paw, but obviously you can't see it. So things happen for a reason, and when my clips don't turn out like they should, and I have to view them or do a voiceover, it helps me to do better next time. Yes, he's a good boy. I always check my blade to make sure it's not getting hot, and I did notice that the bravata was not getting hot at all with the new blade. I did get a special kind of thick white grease. I noticed the new blades came with the thick white grease inside the blade where it connects to the bravata. So it's important that we keep the inside of our clippers lubricated as well as the teeth. And Otto is very beautiful there. I know he seems a little hot. I know I was cold. I had to wear a hat. And not far into this, I had to take the hat off. I had to take the shirt off and wear a tank top because the heat, when you're working, obviously you're going to get hot. I try to keep my table clean. So I just push all the hair off the back or off the front, try to keep it to the side. I have a bamboo floor, so the hair is pretty easily swept up. Here I'm giving him a lung treat. I found some freeze-dried beef lung that I don't feel bad about giving them because it's definitely not a processed food type treat. It's more of a treat, a healthy treat, because all it is beef lung that's been dehydrated. They cost more, but in the long run, it's worth it. So here he's letting me do it from the top and prefer to have that toe, that whole foot kind of on my lap. But he was kind of against that. He does have his preferences, as you can see. I work around. If he doesn't feel like doing a certain thing, I work around it. Do my best to get the job done. So in this particular clip, he never did really cool down. I think he stayed pretty warm the whole time because his tongue was out a lot and he was breathing. And normally he doesn't do well. Here he's okay. There, Eli Bentley came to see us. He just always out for an extra treat from somebody. So I think I used the Bravata and the Wall Arco exclusively. I even used the Bravata with the new clipper blade on his face. I haven't gotten to that part yet, I don't think. He let me shave his face pretty close. Actually, this face shave that's coming up here shortly, was the first time that I did it with the Bravata. I usually use a 7F blade, and it keeps the hair a lot longer, and hence that makes me have to do it more often. So this little bit shorter blade on the face will will buy me more time, so to speak. I don't have to do his face again for a while. So his face here in this segment right at this point is kind of furry, but not as furry as it looks a lot cleaner after I shave it. So little by little, he is kind of making me work on all of them and not just one at a time, which is okay. You know, I do what I can on one and go to the other and then back and forth all the way around. And if I can clearly see something's been missed, I go back. I'm not sure what I'm looking for here. Oh, the Good Time Andis oiler and cleaner. Not only does it cool down the blade, but it cleans and oils the teeth. And here I picked up the arterial hit. And I immediately noticed that the blade is not sharp. Because of much use, it doesn't work as well as it used to, and I'll probably have to send it in to get it sharpened or get some new F, as in Frank, 7 blades. Those are the blades that allow a lot more hair. They're not very close, but they do a good job cleaning things up. Often I use that on the body. That's probably how they got somewhat dull. So here I'm looking for my Arco. I have a couple of Arcos that I use. And it's hard to be a home groomer. I have a designated area, but it's also used for other things. I've had to multitask because I have so many interests. And I try to keep my grooming paraphernalia pretty organized. I keep it in those big crates, and if need be, I can put a lid on it. I do my sewing, and I use sewing a lot of times when I'm doing embroidery. I make sure the grooming table is clean, and I use that as a surface for laying out and attaching hoops when I'm doing embroidery. And that's coming up soon. I've already got my books out, and I've been thinking about doing more embroidery soon. So I think I put a blade on the Arco that is a coarse blade. It's a blade that adjusts from 3 to 7, but the blade itself, its size is coarse, so it's not fine or extra fine. So when I'm using it starting from the ear on his face, and obviously my arm is in the way, but I'm not sure how I can get around it unless I had a cameraman. So, yeah, his ears were pretty dirty. That was yesterday. But he wasn't really due for an ear cleaning. I know I've done ear cleanings on the videos before, and he handles it pretty well, but obviously yesterday he wasn't really up for it, and I recognized that. So I wasn't going to include that in the process as well. So I go as close to the eye as possible and then down. Yes, and he's so sweet. Look at that. Yes, he's got quite a face. 6 years old. He's been around the block a few times. He knows the process. I got nice and close. He ended up looking real good. I know I've never nicked anybody, but in the beginning I used to fear nicking them with those blades. And my goodness, I think I used a comb protector for quite a while. I wouldn't dare just do trimming with just a blade. But the 7F blade really got me acclimated on how to use a clipper. even though I've been warned that the 7F, the teeth are so far apart, you could get skin caught in there. But no, I've never gotten skin caught in there. It's a matter of pressure, I think, how you push down on it onto the skin. The easier you go over the hair, the lighter. The harder you push down, the deeper it's going to trim it. Oh, he's such a sweet boy. Yeah, and I did talk through this whole video, but none of it came out. There is a setting there when I start recording, and I just completely forgot about it. And because I had done one video with my headset and then failed to change it back to something else, and obviously my headset was nowhere in sight. So none of the words that I spoke during this groom came out at all. Well, this is interesting. Now, I have watched my videos before to critique myself, because how am I going to get better unless I see what I do? And then I've sped up my videos, and my goodness, sometimes I seem almost forceful when I'm really not. You speed up the video too much, you seem like you're forceful, but I'm not forceful with them, with the poodles. Although they drive me, I have a limit. Everybody does. Eli Bentley does drive me to a limit when he does that turkey trot foot. I'm trying to Dremel his back foot, and he just up, up, up. That foot just, it's like a reflex that he cannot help himself to pull back, pull back, pull back. And here I am with that Dremel and trying to hold his foot still. The Dremel being as dangerous as it is, you don't want that to get loose. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, no, this video isn't sped up. I think I sped it up when I uploaded it. I changed the speed because I thought, oh, that's pretty boring when all you get is me grooming with no sound whatsoever. So I'd like to make comments. I'm talking to Otto the whole time. I mean, it's a process. Oh, look at that. He's so soft. Now, Otto is a very soft poodle. I would call him silky. He's got silky curls. Yes. I don't know if I can sit here as long as this video is. It says it's an hour and 25 minutes, so I'm probably going to stop here and post this, and I hope that you all appreciate that I took a little time out to explain. Oh, look at him. Yeah, he still looks good today. And the mushers was a big hit. That's the mushers. It smells citrusy, but it's what they use for dogs, sled dogs, to keep their feet healthy, their fat pads in the snow and all that. And I've used it for years. It really helps keep their fat pads on their feet healthy and stops them from cracking, drying out. Although diet is really important, but it's really nice to put that mushers on. And I'm not advertising it here. It's going to be little ways down the road that I talk about the mushers and show you the big jar. It comes in different sizes. If you just want to try it out, you can get a small size at a really reasonable price. But I love it so much, I get a big tub. And then I put it on his face and I said, oh, it's just like mustache wax. Because it's waxy, and when I shave his face, it kind of feels funny. But he liked it when I put it on his snout. And it doesn't hurt, you know, yeah. Here I'm trimming down the entrance of his ear canal. I don't dare trim inside there because I like that hair to be a little long. So when I put powder in it, plucking powder, I can grab onto it good and pull it from the root. You want to get your finger into that ear canal and then pull, after you put the powder on, the plucking powder, and then pull the hair out. But your thumb and forefinger have to be as close to the skin as absolutely possible, and then pluck, with your finger plucking out the inside hair of the ear canal. I do that, and they are pretty much used to it, although, they could have their way, that I would just skip that procedure. But I think it stops a lot of problems from happening, because if you plug up, if you let that hair stay in that ear canal, eventually there'll be wax, and then there won't be circulation. And with these long-haired eared dogs, it's better to help out when it comes to circulation, air circulation going into the ear canal. You don't want to plug that up. Oh, he's so cute. He's such a camera. He's very photogenic. Look at that. Yes. Well, I'm glad I'm able to get most of him on the video. I don't want to block him completely. I can't really say how long I've been doing the videotaping, but I've been doing the grooming for at least on Poodles for about 6 years now. So I noticed on his lip there was, on their poodle lip, the bottom part, they have a little weird part that we have to be careful of. That's why we stretch their lips up when we go to groom it, because it's a irregularity in their lip. Well, I noticed that Otto had like a little, it seemed like food or tallow from a bone kind of stuck on the hair in that area. And I didn't just want to groom over it, so I got a cotton ball with just plain water and loosened it all up. And then I think I used the little scissors to cut it first before I went over it with the clippers, because I want to make sure I don't nick him anywhere. I've never nicked him. Thank God for that. Can only imagine what he would be like if I'd have done that. Of course, I think on his feet, sometimes they get stuff in between their toes, and if the clipper touches it, yeah, it can pull the hair right out, and you can have the follicles or the bleed where it pulled the skin out. So I always keep some steroid antibiotic handy that really makes the pain go away right away if that ever happens. I keep that handy. So I got that little wad of something that was stuck on his lower lip off. I think I combed through it with a little tiny comb to make sure it wasn't really a mat. It was just something stuck on his hair there, and I didn't want to take a chance of the clipper pulling it, because the clipper could pull the hair and pull it right out by the roots if you have something like that. Oh, here I used some toothpaste. They do like the toothpaste, and I just used my regular finger, and that was the enzymatic toothpaste. Yes. They all love that. They think that's some kind of treat. That's what he's licking, the enzymatic toothpaste. See why the sound is so important on the video. I mean, I was talking about all this stuff when I was doing it, and none of it came out. So this is my second video with no sound. I hope I've learned my lesson. I'm combing that area where there was this little thing stuck on his lip. So yeah, after I soaked it in water, now it's all clean of any obstruction that might get caught in the clipper teeth. So that's a crucial and sensitive area. It's a very delicate. Well, it looks like he trusts me pretty good. I think I took his collar off too. They very rarely escape from me, but anything's possible, you know. They've even jumped over that ledge. But it's been a while. They're coming along good. He's hot again. I'm not hot yet, but I could see that he's panting a little bit. Oh, look at you. Yes. Such a nice top knot. I found some dirt in his top knot, and look who's come to visit. That was Max. Yep, he just came to take a quick peek as to what's going on in here. So I combed out what was on top. I did inspect it because I felt it. Ay, ay, ay. Look at that. I had to. Oh, I inspected what was on his scalp, and it looked like it was just dirt that got kicked up. And I combed it right out. So we have to always be careful and watch for things, you know. Goodness, you never know. You know, they do go outside. Oh, yes, grooming is hard work. Yes, I had to take my sweater off to cool down a bit. And I'm only 27 minutes in, so I worked apparently almost another hour, and Otto was very patient. I believe in this video, the only other thing that I did was finish off his feet, brushed out his bell bottoms and his tail, and trimmed his tail, and then dremeled his toes. I believe this was the part where I just had to do a final inspection after the hair on his bottom lip dried. So when I go over it with the clipper, it's not going to cause a problem. I think the key is to pace yourself when you're doing it. And don't expect to get it all done. My main goal is to at least have it even. I don't like one foot shaved and the rest of them aren't. I would like to at least get them all shaved and all dremeled and each side somewhat even. But it's happened before where they had to be let down without being even. When you're doing it at home, I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's tiring though to stand there. Yep. And here I'm using the jelly brush. It's a jelly slicker. My dogs really wear those jelly collars, Jelly. And we like them because they're waterproof and pretty comfortable. I think they're comfortable. And they also manufactured a thing called these other jelly items. I have a jelly leash and I ordered a jelly brush just to see how it is. It's not much different than the Chris Christensen brush, but costs a lot less. And it works good for line brushing. So here I'm line brushing, and that day I did find some Rasta hair. I call it Rasta hair, where the hair starts to mat, but it's not all the way matted down to the skin. It's just starting to get really tangled and taking on the form of a Rasta dread. So we dread those, but we deal with them when we get them. So even in this picture on his bell bottoms, those are pretty much Rasta dreads that need line brushing. So I start at the top, usually with the line brushing, and then I kind of dig into it line by line. That's what they call the line brushing. And I'm not hurting him by holding his ear like that or brushing it through. I got a hold of his leather. They call that leather. The skin of his ears called the leather. So I grab on the hold of his leather, and then I'm not just pulling the hair. Looks like my hair could use some combing too. My goodness. Aha, so I never really had to put down the Arco. It never got hot. So I guess that's a good testimony for the Wall Arco and the Bravada, the Wall Bravada. Both working great. And what do I contribute that to? The new blades. Thank you, Chewy. It was buy two, get one free. So I took advantage of that. Look at that face. Oh, yes. Well, I like it pretty close on the bottom, and as you can see, Otto is very used to it. Ay, ay, ay. But of course, I'm in the way. How can anybody see? Maybe someday, or I'll learn to step back and do this so that it's more visible. Oh, step back, groomer. Let me see what's going on. Oh, what a pretty boy he is. I do go back to things a lot when I see, I missed a spot, or here I need to go over it again. Oh, look at that pretty boy. He's been very happy. Oh, silly Billy. Yes. I go over it and smooth it out, but oh, he's so smooth and soft. I guess the Comic Cool filter at the 55% level is not bad. It just adds a little definition. I've seen some of my videos where my hair even looked worse. Sometimes I get up and I immediately start grooming, don't even bother with my hair. I gotta admit, I spend more money on the Poodles than I do on myself most of the time. But yesterday morning I did get to work out. I did some barbell curls, a whole set of those, and then I also did my quads. So working out has really kept me strong. Nobody likes flabby arms, but I'm 72, so my goodness. Thank God for pumping iron, huh? Been pumping iron since I was 29. Yes. Before that, I always was an athlete, a swimmer, a runner, a skier. It has a lot to do with being active. Keeping your muscle tone has a lot to do with being active. And the same with dogs. Oh, here I go. Gonna work on getting that hair out from in between the toes. Yes, that is a process. All the reward is worth the effort. And yesterday it was real. Well, I'm doing voiceover. Let me just remind you, I'm doing voiceover because my sound didn't come out at all yesterday. So here I'm pulling the hair out, manipulating the hair between the toes out so I can get rid of that extra hair that's in between the toes. And kind of scooping it out. And if we were in a perfect world, this camera would automatically zoom in so you could see a close-up. But that's just not possible when you're doing it yourself. Maybe AI can come up with something like that. I am excited about the clip filter I found in iMovie. It's kind of nice. And I like the comic clip filter. I could go all the way to 100% and be okay with that. Well, folks, I'm not quite halfway through, but I think enough voiceover for now. Maybe I'll go back and do the rest of it at another time, but I'm going to call it quits for now. Thank you. Thank you, poodle people. And thank you, home groomers. We need to stick together and help each other.